Welcome back to another episode on Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm an anxiety coach who helps people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally. On today's episode, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of clarity of why you are experiencing anxiety, why you have an anxiety disorder. Now, I know I told people that the reason why we have an anxiety disorder is because we have a lot of negative thoughts, and we thinking very negatively, and we have to, instill more positivity in our lives, and that means more about ourselves, about situations, and everything like that. But the question is over here is that why do we think negatively? Where does that come from? Why is it that we are continuously experiencing anxiety and we have no control over it? Yeah, it's because our sympathetic nervous system is on overdrive. That is true. But at the same time, what caused it? Of course, our stress and worry and pressure. But there's something more than that. There's something underneath at the root. That's what we have to look at the root issues of why we have anxiety in the first place. Why are we thinking the way we are thinking in the first place? And we need to understand this because, again, the more clarity that we have about how something works, the better we will understand how it works, and we'll also be able to control it the right way. So with anxiety, the more we understand how anxiety tricks us and manipulates us and does all these things, the better that we will understand how to control it and how to do it properly. Now, the question over here is that, okay, we have anxiety, but the thing is that where did it come from? And oftentimes, it comes from whenever we were younger, because our subconscious mind, it's our subconscious mind that's anxious, that makes us feel anxious. So our conscious minds work according to our subconscious mind. It works according to that path. And the subconscious mind has been developed, has been in a way created from our early childhood memories. Now, I know a lot of people, I'm talking about myself over here, is that we went through certain experiences in life. Like me, for example, I went through some uncomfortable and very stressful and very anxious situations whenever I was younger that manifested my anxiety, that made me feel anxious, that all of a sudden, whenever I was 20 years old, I hit anxiety disorder. I developed an anxiety disorder and also depression, was because of the way I grew up, the way I was developed, the way my subconscious mind was developed. And this is very important because our subconscious mind controls our life. And if our subconscious mind hasn't been programmed in the right way, then that's going to be an issue. Then we're going to experience anxiety. And then we're going to be very stressed out in general. We're going to feel very stressed. We're going to feel very worried about things. We are going to put a lot of pressure on ourselves because of our subconscious mind. It's not because of the situations that's around us. Yeah, that may influence it a little bit, but if we have a good way in how to deal with the stress and how to deal with the pressure and how to look at worry in a different way, we wouldn't develop an anxiety disorder. We wouldn't get to that point. But the thing is that we haven't been developed in the right way, and it's not because our fault or anything like that. Not even our parents' fault. It's because that's what they know, but it's our responsibility, of course, to change that. It's our responsibility to change that course so that we no longer experience anxiety, so that our subconscious mind is on the right track, is developed in the right way. Now, the reason why we have anxiety is there because it's there to protect us. That's what its job is. Now, whenever we were a kid and something happened, our anxiety tried to protect us from that situation. Our anxiety, let's say, for example, if parents are arguing. My parents used to argue a lot. I used to get very anxious in those moments. I used to get very anxious. I didn't know what to do. So our anxiety is a self-defense mechanism that's going there to protect us from the danger. Now, we are used to that. That's what we're used to whenever a situation happens, whenever a situation arises. We are operating, our anxiety is operating, it's trying to protect us from the danger. And that's what it's getting used to. Our subconscious mind is getting used to that way of operating, that eventually comes to the point where we no longer can handle it, where we no longer could feel this anymore, where we no longer can handle the stress and the worry and the pressures in life and the fears of life, and our anxiety comes and it protects us. This is why right now we have kind of developed This is why right now we developed an anxiety disorder. It was a certain event that may have pushed us over to developed an anxiety disorder from years and years and years. It's just little tiny things that eventually all added up. And this is why we have an anxiety disorder, because the subconscious mind, again, at the time, whenever we were younger, whenever we were kids, our mind was starting to be developed, and it was being developed in the wrong way. And this is what I do with a lot of people in my sessions, is that I work on the subconscious mind, because that is going to change your conscious mind. That's going to change how you look at situations, because every time, whenever I go back in time with people in their mind about situations, how they look at it, what I do over there is I repair the wounds. I repair the things that they experienced and how they were thinking, what they were feeling at the moment. And I kind of just release the anxiety. And every single person that has done this with me, they feel this calmness afterwards. Like, yeah, I feel very calm. I feel great. Of course, it's going to take some time because, again, our subconscious mind is just so used to thinking in a certain way. It takes some time, but eventually, what happens is that our subconscious mind starts to rewrite itself. It starts to reprogram itself and how it thinks and how it operates and how it sees situations. So that way we no longer experience anxiety. No longer we need the anxiety to protect us from whenever we were a kid, whenever something bad happened or we saw something that was negative. Like, for example, with me, is when my parents used to argue. I never used to like that. And no, I don't think any kid likes that. No kid in the world likes it. And especially, let's say, for example, if they're being bullied in school, something like that. Doesn't matter, whatever negativity, our anxiety is there to protect us. But if it happens so many times, if it happens often, and nobody's there to guide us in the right way, what happens eventually is that our mind just thinks that way. And then from years and years and years of thinking that way, we get to a certain point, it's like, boom, why am I having panic attacks? Why am I feeling anxious all the time? What's going on? Is it because of what I went through? It could be. Like, meaning a certain event that I just recently went through? It could be. But the reality is it's not even that. It's so many years before that has developed your mind in the wrong way. And we need to be aware of that. We need to be aware of that because it's important because, hey, listen, I was programmed the wrong way and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I was programmed in the wrong way and I was able to change it. It takes time, but it's possible for you to do it. And I don't think anybody in the world, I don't think any kid in the world, even the most perfect parents in the world, cannot program their kid in the right way. There is always going to be a little bit issue. Of course, it all depends on the degree. That's 100%. That's always dependent on the degree. But again, we can never attain that perfection. That's all I want to say. We're never going to be able to attain that perfection. But what we could do is always improve ourselves. That's what we're here for. We cannot attain perfection. It's impossible. We can do our best. And we are trying our best in overcoming this and dealing with whatever situation we have. So we have to look at the situation and whatever we're going through in a way of like, okay, you know what? I'm having anxiety right now. Just understand that it's not from that recent event. If you look back, and I'm telling you, every time when I take people back, they start realizing the connections. They start realizing like, oh my God, I didn't realize since I was a kid, I was the same exact way. And that's what's actually guiding me throughout my entire life. Like, I'll give you the most recent example that was someone that I was speaking to, someone I do sessions with. She dreads the weekends. She doesn't like the weekend. And whenever we did the subconscious exercise, she realized the reason why she didn't like the weekends is because her parents used to argue all the time. And that's the reason why she used to dread it when she was a kid. And now, even whenever she's an adult now, it manifested and it carried her and guided her until now that she doesn't like the weekends. And now the reason why she doesn't like the weekends is because of her anxiety. Her anxiety increases because she's not busy. But there's a correlation. There's a connection with one another. There's a connection. It's coming from somewhere. So what we need to do is work on those past events to try to change how we saw it, to try to change our subconscious mind so that we can start feeling much better, so that we can feel much calmer. We'll feel much calmer. Again, we can always do conscious things, like, for example, tools and techniques that there is to control the anxiety. But at the end of the day, what we want is to live anxiety free. We want to walk out of our house without thinking about anxiety, to go places that we want to do things that we want to without thinking about anxiety or saying to ourselves, okay, now I need to apply this, or now use this type of tool, or do this kind of thing. No, I just want to go somewhere without experiencing anxiety. And that's what I do today. Today, I no longer think about anxiety because I changed my subconscious mind, because I did certain things. I built my self-esteem. I worked on my conscious mind and my subconscious mind at the same time. And that's something that we need to do. And I know a lot of people do the hypnotherapy. It's great. It's not a bad thing. But we also need to think about the conscious mind at the same time. We need to tackle the anxiety from both sides. We have to tackle from both sides. And that's what's going to help us tremendously from changing our negative thoughts to more a positive thought. To look at situations from a negative situation to more positive situations. Instead of looking at what we don't have, looking at what we do have. Things like that, in order to us, that's going to make us feel good. That's going to give us more energy. But we have to tackle from both sides, and that's going to help us tremendously. And this is what I do with my sessions. And guys, if you are interested, I do have a 30-minute free consultation. You can click on the link below and set that up. It's 100% free. That's the amazing part. So you don't have to pay anything for those 30 minutes or anything like that just to get consultation. I think it will help tremendously to give even the people that I speak to for 30 minutes, they see the potential and they see like, okay, you know what? There is hope. There is a way of getting out of it, but this requires some work. That's all it does. That's all it is. That's all it is. It requires some work in order for you to start feeling better, but it's possible. It's possible for you guys to overcome this. It's possible to overcome anxiety and to be anxiety-free, and for you to stay anxiety-free. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review. The reason why I ask is because this way we're able to reach more people. And the more people that we can actually reach, the more people that we can actually help. Because my mission in this world, my purpose is to help people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally and show them that it's possible to overcome. Thank you guys. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.